To this day, I'm not really sure what happened or what was outside our window.
Hey, spooky siblings. Monsters are real. Ghosts are real too. They live inside us.
Hey, spooky siblings. Welcome to Scary Mondays. My name is Red, and this is Left on Red. Today, we will be talking about cryptids. What are cryptids, dear listeners? They are animals that have been claimed to exist, but their existence hasn't been proven yet. Story number 1. My friend is Irish and her uncle has a sheep farm out in the country. One day he was clearing new grazing areas and came across a fairy circle. He's not the superstitious type, so he didn't think twice before destroying it. This is a big no-no in Ireland. Every single one of his lambs came out stillborn that year. Every single one. He respects the fairies now.
Oh, he'd better. The top 3 rules of the Supernatural Creatures Handbook are as follows. Rule number 1, don't mess with the fairies. Rule number 2, never mess with the fairies. Rule number 3, mess with the fairies gets super cursed. It's like getting cursed.
But much, much worse. Second story. In college, my roommate and I were walking out around the town at like 2 a.m. We were not drinking, and we passed a dead cat in the gutter. It was a calico, big brown spot on one side and an orange one on its face. Rigor mortis had set in, and there was a kind of greasy smear coming from under the head. We guessed it had been smashed by a car. We walked down to a park, wander around, and come back to the same way. A car passed us, and in its headlights we see a calico cat crossing the road away from us. We get back to the spot where the dead cat was, and it was gone. Same storefront, same street light, same greasy smear in the gutter. No cat. Over the rest of the semester, that cat showed up all over the place. It chased my roommate and his friend down the street one night on the far side of town from where we first saw it. We had a note once from an RA that she wanted to see us. We knocked on her door, and without a word, she walked us to our room, opened the door, took one look. It was terrible, and said, "Oh wow, there is no way you're keeping a cat in here. Sorry." Roommate and I look at each other. RA says, "One of the grounds people said they saw a cat in your window." We asked if they said what it looked like. White with brown and orange spots.
Aww, that sweet kitty only wanted to play. Ghost kitties want cuddles too.
Story number 3. One morning, my girlfriend and I were laying in her bed on a cold, cold morning. We did not have work or school that day because it had snowed. She lived out in the middle of nowhere, like no neighbor for a mile nowhere. Well, I hear someone right outside the window say, "Get down. They're going to be able to see you if you don't get down." So, of course, this startled me, and I turn around and see a guy and 3 dogs right outside walking toward the garage door. I grab my handgun and go to meet them at the door and find out why they were there. In about 10 seconds, I get outside, and no one was there. Right outside my window, there were shoe prints and paw prints in the fresh snow. I tracked them down the back of the property, and after about 100 yards or so, there were only paw prints. I looked over to my left, 10-15 yards. There were very similar paw prints, looking like they had come from the forest towards the house. So I tracked those up to the house, and then shoe prints appeared about 25 yards from the house. I followed them to see if maybe they had gone out the front of the property, but there were none. To this day, I'm not really sure what happened or what was outside our window.
Oh, I know what happened. So the so-called human was actually a werewolf. No, they were all a pack of werewolves, and the werewolves told the human werewolf to get down and become a werewolf so as not to be seen by humans. Make sense?
Yeah, brilliant. You solved the mystery, Polty. Story number 4. I've seen what looked like a bat fly past my head while looking in a mirror. I've seen black cat shapes move into rooms or through a doorway multiple times. I have cats, and I've had others before, but always black and white. These ones would be just pure black. When I have investigated, there is no cat, just empty room or hallway. While staying with a girlfriend like 11 years ago, due to our young age, we were sleeping apart. I slept in the living room on a pull-out bed. It was middle of the summer. I have hay fever and there's a window open, so I'm in and out of sleep a lot that night, using my inhaler to counter the wheezy chest. One time I wake up and there's a black cat sitting on my chest, so I stroke it. It reciprocates, then moves to a nearby armchair and beds down for the night. I had met one cat earlier, and I knew she had 2 cats, and that's the second, which hid from strangers. So I took this as a compliment. It could tell I'm a cat person. Next day, I'm introduced to the second cat. It's not black. It's white and ginger mixed. I explain my midnight visit to the girlfriend, and she is kind of surprised. But it's not the first time she has had someone tell her something similar. Her old cat was black, but had passed away years ago. Story number 5. I had 5 other people with me at the time it happened. We were camping in southern Ohio at a private campground. It was about 11 p.m. and we were walking to the pool that was at the front of the site. All of a sudden, it looked like a large black cat, about the size of a mountain lion, was crossing the road about 60 yards in front of us. As it got about halfway across the road, it stands up and walks, like a person, into the woods. We were all about 16 years old and freaked out. But being teenagers, we wanted to see if we could spot it. So we all ran towards the spot with flashlights, never going into the woods. We never saw that thing again, and I had never seen anything like that before.
Huh. So I think most of these spooky creatures, They're just good old kitty cats. Cats will rule the world.
I thought reptilians would rule the world.
Nuh-uh. Reptilians got nothing on cool cats and kittens.
The Armageddon being cats versus reptiles, and not humankind versus AI. Who could have thought? And that was Scary Mondays. My name is Red, and this is Left on Red. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and press the bell notification button so that you get notified every time Polty and I upload a new video. Until next time.